Michael Anthony, the iconic bassist of Van Halen, responded to Sammy Hagar's recent comments about Joe Satriani not being an ideal match for the band during the 2024 Best of All Worlds tour. Hagar, who led the band during its most successful years, suggested that while Satriani is an extraordinary guitarist, his style didn't perfectly align with Van Halen's unique sound after Eddie Van Halen's death in 2020. Anthony, who had been part of the band for decades before leaving in 2006, reflected on the difficulties the group faced during this transitional period. "I hadn't heard that comment, but Sammy can be outspoken sometimes," Anthony chuckled when asked about Hagar's remarks. "I get what he's saying. Eddie's guitar playing was such a core part of the band's identity that no one will ever replace him exactly." While Hagar's comments raised some eyebrows among fans, Anthony quickly clarified that his former bandmates were simply acknowledging the challenge of replacing someone as legendary as Eddie. "Joe Satriani is an amazing guitarist, no doubt, but Eddie was so unique," Anthony said. "No matter who you put in that role, it will always create a different dynamic." Satriani took over for Eddie after health issues forced the legendary guitarist to step back from the stage in the early 2000s. The Best of All Worlds tour was an attempt to carry on Van Halen's legacy, but Anthony admitted that the band's chemistry was never quite the same without Eddie leading them. "Van Halen was all about the chemistry between all of us, especially Eddie and Alex," Anthony explained. "When you lose someone like Eddie, you're not just losing a guitarist, you're losing the heart and soul of the band. It's tough, and I think Sammy was just being honest about that." When asked if he thought the band could have done anything differently during the tour, Anthony was pragmatic. "We did the best we could with what we had. Fans seemed to enjoy it, and we gave it everything we had. It wasn't the same without Eddie, but we tried to honor his legacy and play the songs the fans loved." The bassist also addressed the possibility of a Van Halen reunion following Eddie's passing. "I'll never say never, but after Eddie's passing, everything changed," he said. "It's hard to imagine doing anything without him. That's the reality we're all dealing with, but I wouldn't completely rule anything out." Despite the challenges and changes, Anthony emphasized the deep respect and bond among the band members, including Hagar, Satriani, and drummer Alex Van Halen. "We've had our ups and downs, but at the end of the day, we were a family," he said. "The music we made together was something special, and that bond will always remain."